The idea came out a long time ago. It was a long process, I would say, because in the past general assemblies that we had, we started to think with the members in the assemblies how we could actually help the members work together through human rights education. We decided to have a study session specifically tackling on peace building, conflict transformation, conflict resolution, and the role of human rights education. The program of this study session is the individual level, the interpersonal level in groups, and the social level, and even the geopolitical level of conflicts, and try to find the links. But we would like to have an impact in changing most of all the behaviors of young people. So make sure that we come out, all of us, even the trainers, we change a little bit during the week. To me, conflict resolution is something that touches me very much. I'm not an expert on peace building, so I will be here also to learn from you.
Personal dimension within the group and then within society, so from the micro to the macro.
Altero is a member of HREYN for a number of years, and I'm familiar with HREYN's work on gender issues and gender equality and human rights protection. So I decided to apply for this study session because it's really close to what I am working on and also close to the work of Altero.
It is my first pure human rights related project. So before that I was very active. I was organizing, I was advising peace building initiatives and initiatives that brought people from remote areas together.
My main motivation is basically to reach out to other people who are doing similar work or something which is closely related. And since I'm coming from Serbia, peace building is something which is close to my heart and my work, and I feel that if we are going to work on LGBTIQ issues, we have to work also on peace building. And also we have to cooperate and collaborate together on issues such as sexism and racism and homophobia and transphobia and biphobia, because it's all those systems of oppression are working together.
Is actually human rights education a useful tool to help improve the lives of young people in terms of empowerment, of giving them the awareness that they have the power to do something for their own life, for their own rights, and for the rights of other young people in their local communities.
This program, as many others that are organized using non-formal education methods, immediately energize you. You feel it, that you take not only new knowledge, you take not only new contacts, but you feel as someone who can achieve much more than you're achieving now. So it gives you certainty in actions, definitely.
What I like about this training is that we had the chance to focus on our own assessment of our own activist competencies, which is really important. But also we had a lot of time to really get to know each other and to share what we do and why we do what we do, and to find some kind of maybe potential ideas of what can be done together jointly.
There was one particularly interesting workshop when we were separated into groups and two different messages were given to those groups, and we were not allowed to talk. So the first message was to take chairs to windows, and the second message was to group chair around the flip chart. So the idea was to find a common language without talking to each other. So it was quite a model of what happens during any conflict, because of course it started immediately. People started to take chairs from the opposite side, and it was like almost a fight between members for these chairs. But what was needed actually just to take a flip chart and write what was in your task.
I like the session when we had a chance to do a test, to actually become familiar with our conflict resolution style. And then I realized how actually we can change our style according to the situation that we have in front of ourselves.
I tend to support trust, skills of the others and mine, and goodwill. The benefits of my style is mutuality, trust, high potential for creative solution, and energy and joy from the process.
And then that session was really interesting for me, and also pretty much useful in my everyday life in just working with people.
We have investigated the Bosnian case, so war in Bosnia in the beginning of the 90s. It was quite complicated network of events. It's impossible to investigate in 45 minutes. Some analysis should have been made, so analysis of different information sources, because if you, for instance, check the first available site, let's say Wikipedia, national Wikipedias contain contradictory facts. If you will compare Turkish version of the events, Serbian version, Russian version, German version, you will see that they are absolutely different. And sometimes it's even obviously seen that something is wrong, because in one of these Wikipedias there was no mentioning about the crimes from one side. Only it was blaming for another.
So then the issue is, how do we empower people? The issue for me is, how do we empower people? But the point that I'm trying to make is that there's always something you can do, and that's the message.
There is no chance, I think, for resolution, as in Nagorno-Karabakh or in Ossetia and in Abkhazia. It is a very key Russian interest to keep this conflict frozen. The objective of Russia is to prevent Ukraine from integration into European Union and or NATO. You will see when the situation starts to change that you will have more and more demands for cooperation from inside. But you cannot go from outside in Chechnya or in Russia and then say, okay, I'm here to help.
So he provided very good insights how decision-making process is made, how from the geopolitical point of view all these conflicts appear. So that was really interesting to see the common features in Bosnian conflict, in Nagorno-Karabakh, in Georgian conflicts, and many others. Especially he talked a lot about Ukraine, because apparently this is a burning issue nowadays. Of course, he was talking about the role of big powers. You of course cannot avoid.
But I was shocked, because when I heard this politician speaking last night or yesterday, I was like, this is when he said a couple of times like nothing can be done in this region. I was like in a bit, that's depressing, that we are aware of the fact that nothing can be done. But like people's lives are involved in that conflict. So it was really like, I don't know. I'm not satisfied with the answer. It is important for me, if I see some kind of injustice, it is important for me to find a way to act and to do something about it.
It's going great, and I think it's mainly up to the fact that we have a very nice group of participants who are very brave and respectful at the same time. So they're not afraid to push themselves out of their safe zone, but they're not pushing each other too much out of the I don't know, some limits.
Ваша позиция, но не их. Так что ты понимаешь,
так это потому что мы ее должны рассматривать как людей, а не как ЛНР, кроме России и Абхазии.
Мы сюда пишем с точки зрения.
In some cases we were a little bit superficial. We couldn't really get to in depth of the issues because we wanted to get as much as we could from the participants. We didn't share much on the actual conflicts that participants experience, despite living in conflict areas.
We are here talking about conflict resolution, and we didn't have any true, real conflict. And maybe that's because of the fact that we are aware that we are on a study session talking about peace building, so we have that awareness in our minds that we have to be polite and calm and politically correct and stuff like that, but that's not just how life works. So that was like a missing piece for me.
There was a separation, at least the first days, between Russian-speaking and not Russian-speaking. So for the sake of quickness, participants were grouped, not according to a random selection, not according to their profiles, not according to their project, but they were grouped according to the language preferences. So for instance, Russian stayed with Russia. It was a negative moment, because I do believe that if we work in one group, it should be one group. Because the group dynamics come from everyone, and you cannot just create some walls.
When you meet in such settings, you have this sense of international community in these rooms, but then you have to do the reality check. You go back home and you have, you have to check with the board of your organizations, you have to check with the actual needs of your beneficiaries and your communities and so on. So we're going to mentor this process, even though it will be up to the participants. I mean, we can give the platform, give the support, but then it's up to them to work.
Actually, I like the session about developing our own projects. It was quite intense because it was like a brainstorming session, so we had a lot of ideas, and then we would come up with one idea and we would be sure that that's the right idea, and then after 2 minutes we would have 3 or 4 or 5 more ideas or directions. So it was quite challenging, especially to work in a big group. But still, at the end of the day, we managed to be concrete and specific and to develop some 2 main projects. I think that it would really happen, and I'm really happy about that.
We analyzed and planned the future of HREYN network. For me, it was very interesting because that is our chance to reconfigure the state of the network and make it more dynamic, make it more fruitful. I believe that we will have dozens, hundreds of projects in 10, 15, 20 years.
HREYN is a network which has huge potential, and it has a lot of experience and people who are really good trainers and youth workers. And I think that HREYN can become what we create out of it. So I do have a sense of a purpose here, and I also think that we can do really important stuff together.
It might sound very ambitious. At the same time, I feel like it should be very normal. That what we are trying to achieve is a world in which people live in dignity and in peace and dignity at the same time. We should never feel that other human beings can hurt us for who we are or what we want for our life and for our children and so on. And I think it is possible.